Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my March wrap-up part 1. Now, after February being a really crap reading month, March has got off to a whopping good start. I wonder if it will continue to the second half, because I've already got I'm looking at them actually, 6 5 stars this month and potentially 2 favourites for the year so far. Wow, how good is this? Now, the first half of the month has obviously had the highs of my birthday bonanza and my birthday. Then we had the crash that the day after my birthday, Mia caught COVID. And my mum's... Yeah, so that was all the fun. So literally, I spent the second half of this week reading loads, being at home, being a mum. But that's fine. That's good. She'll, we'll get there. She's not too bad, so don't worry about her when this comes live. But yeah, it's been a very busy month already. I've had lots happen. Obviously, you would have seen my reading vlog would have gone live on Wednesday. And I hope you all watch that and enjoy that. I really did get spoiled rotten on my birthday. And I'm so grateful for all your lovely presents. Oh God. Just a heads up, by the way. My March book haul is massive. It's going to be at least 30 books gained. So yeah, I've got a good excuse to read loads to make sure that my TBR doesn't go too much up. Let's hope not. Let's see what I can do. So enough rambling, let's get on with it and show you what I'm reading at the moment. So this is all what I'm reading at the moment, as in some of these might have been read by the time this video goes live. I started this yesterday. I'm filming this on the 15th and I started this last night, and you can already see I read about nearly 100 pages last night. I read about 84 pages yesterday. I'll be reading a big chunk of this. This is for the Analong, and this is the 3rd book in the Anne of Green Gables series. I'm loving it. Reading it with the Analong group, although I think everyone sort of saved it for the second half of the month because people are doing BookTube Prize and other things. But I'm thoroughly loving it. I know it'll be a 5-star, and it's brilliant. Then I'm just thinking, where am I going to put these? There we go. Then I'm reading. This will definitely be being read while this video goes live, because it's my buddy read with Gemma from Read a Book Gem. My TBR jar did good. Gemma was saying that she wanted to read this with me, so we decided to buddy read it. I'm going to read it a bit slower than other books, I think. We're reading between 40 and 50 pages a day, and that's fine. This is historical fiction. Everyone knows about this, and I've had it on my TBR jar for this will be the 2nd year, and I've wanted it. It's like YA historical fiction. And it's about Lily, who growing up believing she accidentally killed her mum when she was only 4 years old. Now at 14, she yearns for forgiveness and her mother's love. And then she lives on and then she goes basically. It's got a lot of about race in this. When racial tensions explode one summer afternoon, and Rosaline is arrested. That Rosaline's her black servant. Lily is compelled to act. Fugitives from justice, the pair follow a trail left by the woman who died 10 years before her. Finding sanctuary in the home of 3 beekeeping sisters, Lily starts a journey as much about her understanding of the world as about the mystery surrounding her mother. I'm on day 2 of this, and I'm thoroughly loving it. I am reading this. I probably will read, if I'm being honest. We said we'd read this. Bring Up the Bodies for the Wolf all along over January and over March and April. And I think, to be honest, I'll probably read this all in March, so I've got a bit longer to read the next book. So yeah, what I'm really looking forward to, Bring Up the Bodies. Really looking forward to this. I'm really enjoying it, what I'm reading so far. It's definitely a lot faster paced than obviously Wolf Hall, and obviously we had a Zoom chat, me, Marissa and Tori, and that's going live on Marissa's channel on Monday, I believe, and that will talk about Wolf Hall. So I hope you all watch that, and it's a really good chat. So really enjoyed that. And then the last book that I'm currently reading is The Ice Twins, which will probably be read by the time this goes live, because I only started this yesterday, but it's quite a fast-paced thriller, and it's about twins. I am Lydia, I am Kirsty, I lived, I died, or did I? It's really interesting. Don't want to know too much about this, so I'm going to read this tonight. Thomas picked that out. So that's the books that I'm reading currently. The day of filming, I think I've read 15 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books. So on the 15th, I've read 15 books. I will probably finish The Ice Tweens tomorrow. So I'm keeping up to about a book a day. That's not bad, is it? So the first book I've read is the non-fiction book called Chinese Cinderella. I read this as this was on my TBR. This was my non-fiction pick for the month, and it's really, really good. It's basically is like the Chinese Cinderella. This girl, this is the true story of this girl, Adeline Yan Mei, whose mother died just after she was born, and her family, a Chinese family, thought she considered her bad luck, and they treated her awfully. Her stepmother appears just after her, when she's a baby, but her stepmother doesn't like her, and then goes on to have 2 children. And the stepmother and the father treat the 2 new children a lot better than they treat the first family. And that's about that. And this is Journey. I read this in a day. It was easy to fly through, but very hard hitting. My disappointment, I don't rate that because it's a memoir, so I will not rate my memoirs. I'm starting to realise I've got to rate non-fiction books, other non-fiction books. Then the disappointment for the month is my classic, which is Daphne du Maurier's The House on the Strand. This is her classic, but it's quite a dystopic, it's quite a sci-fi kind of classic about time travel, and I just didn't connect with it. Again, I read it in a day, but I didn't connect with it. It wasn't really for me. If anyone wants this book, can you please let me know in the comments below, and I'll happily send this off, because it wasn't a du Maurier for me, and I love Daphne du Maurier's other works, but again, it was just not one I connected with, not one I really struggled with. So let's go in bye-byes. Those 2 are going bye-byes actually. But that's it. Those are the only 2 books that I've not rated or not 4 stars. That's it. So what a month. The next books are 4 stars. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4 stars and 1 4.5. So the first 4 star is one I read for my birthday bonanza read along. And that was a book I read growing up, a favourite book I read growing up. And that was What Katie Did and What Katie Did Next. I think there's another one, which is What Katie Went to School. What Katie Did at School, but I can only find it in my local charity shop with Heidi, but I've already got an edition of Heidi, so I may well unhaul my edition of Heidi and get the other one if it's still there when I go back to my charity shop. But this is literally like going back to childhood. What Katie Did was literally written in the 1800s, I believe. This is literally a very, very long time ago this was written. My edition was published in 98, but it was literally written in the 1800s, and set in America, so it's an American classic, but it's really, really good. And I love Katie. I love her siblings. I love her character. There is a scene. I'm gutted I didn't put this in because I was daft and I really didn't write the chapter. And there was basically, in this, Katie has an accident right at the start. And she literally gets hurt and she gets damaged. And it causes her to have chronic pain effectively, but it wasn't known as chronic pain in this. And there was a bit about the School of Pain and Good, and why did I not save that? Why did I not save that? And it was such a good poem, and why did I not save it? I'm so daft, sorry about this guys, but anyway, I will save it. But there's a poem about pain and love, and it's a really good, and I need to go back and look at that, so I'm going to go and put that to one side and look at that quote, and I'll put that on my channel. But that was really good. Then I read my historical fiction for the month, which is The Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. The lovely Katie from Books and Things has raved about this book, and when I found it in the charity shop, I think last year or the year before, I picked it up. It is brilliant. It's based on a true life story actually, set in San Francisco in 1876. A stifling heat wave and a smallpox epidemic have engulfed the city. Deep in the streets of Chinatown lived 3 former stars of the Parisian circus. Blanche, now an exotic dancer at the House of Mirrors, her lover Arthur, and his companion Ernest. This is very hard-hitting. It does tackle child abuse in a way, and it tackles about an unsolved crime and murder, and it goes back and forward in timelines. Emma Donoghue's writing is beautiful. She is amazing and very, very hard-hitting, and I thought it was a brilliant book. 4 stars, but it was one I flew through and I really, really enjoyed, but I'm not going to keep that because I won't reread it. Then a middle grade book, another middle grade book, which was one that the lovely Gemma from Read a Book Gem gave to me last year. I'm not going to keep it because I think I want to give it to a charity shop because I think they would love it. The Owls Are Another Sign. It's just that Casey Ingle doesn't know what they mean, and she doesn't have long to find out because their grim forces are gathering and she's right on their path. This is soaring twists and turns. It's fantasy, it's excitement, it's middle grade, it's brilliant. Actually, I'm going to go and see if Mia wants it actually, so I'm going to put that to one side. See if Mia wants that, because I really love that. Then my first thriller for the month, because obviously the thriller that was set on my TBR. So we have one set thriller and I'm going to try and read an extra one. And this is The House That We Grew Up In by Lisa Jewell. I didn't find that as scary. I didn't find this anywhere near as scary as some of Lisa Jewell's other thrillers. Either that or I'm getting a bit more of a backbone with thrillers. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. Imagine a picture book cottage in a village, a family in a sun-drenched kitchen filled with love and laughter. Picture an Easter weekend when tragedy strikes, so unexpected, so devastating that no one can talk about it. The years pass, the children become adults and gradually they lose touch as the secret between them tears them apart. It does have dual timelines, going backward and forward to the event that caused things to change. It has families, it has siblings, it's exciting, it's thrilling, it's great. It's not one of Lisa Jewell's best thrillers, but it's very, very good and one I threw and really enjoyed. And like I said, it didn't scare me too much, so that's got to be good. Then another book I read for the birthday bonanza, and this was The Birthday Party by Veronica Henry. This is one of her what's it called? Backlist books, or I think it's like backlist books. So it's one of her earlier ones. And this is about Delia, who's lived a tempestuous marriage to a hellraiser wrath in the glare of the media spotlight. They have 3 daughters, all of which are going through different things. It's exciting, it's thrilling. It's very similar to Malibu Rising, which I also read, which is quite freaky. It's very, very similar. Actually, this was actually written first, so very similar to Malibu Rising, but set in the UK. And this is one of her earlier works, and for the life of me, I can't see when it was written. This is saying about 2010, so it's one of her earlier ones, but it's really good, really exciting, really good. Definitely reminds me why I love Veronica Henry. She's a great author and very easy to fly through. Very 4 stars, but very good 4 stars. It was very thrilling. Not another not keepy. Then my series book of the month, my other series book of the month is The Nightingale Sisters by Donna Douglas. I am loving this series. This book centres around a different girl, Violet, and it still centres around Dora and Millie. And they were the ones that were in the first book. Helen's not in it as much, which is the other girl that was in the first book. But it's really exciting, again, really thrilling. It does tackle a lot of hard-hitting things. It tackles domestic abuse, fighting, a lot of things, and it has a lot of medical gory stuff. But it really is really, really good. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this. Blew through it. I don't want to tell you too much about it because it is the second in the series. But I can't wait to carry on. I'm really glad I've got this whole series that I can read nice and easily. Actually, that's a keepy, so it goes there. That's a keepy. That's a keepy. That's a keepy. And then another keepy, and this is 4.5 stars. And this is Peaches for Monsieur Le Cure by Joanne Harris. This is the 3rd in the Chocolat series. I've already read this gem from Read a Book Gem. I will say that it isn't quite as good as Lollipop Shoes, and it's kind of similar to Chocolat. So the first start is a very big book. It's like over 500 pages. And the first third, I would say, it was quite slow paced. I didn't really connect with the new characters we meet because Viviane Rocher has to go back to the place where the first book, Chocolat, is set, and something happens, and something's happened, and it's got her to go back there from where she was in Lollipop Shoes. I don't want to say too much, but Father Reynard is in trouble, and she goes back there to sort of help and find the mystery. There is a real mystery element in this, and it's very good. But I will say that I found it quite, like I said, this first bit is very slow. I didn't really connect with the new characters. And then it takes a turn and it gets very exciting, very fast paced. I liked Father Reynard in this book and I hated him in Chocolat. So it's quite interesting to see him change and see how he's changed. Vianne is amazing. I love her character. We see Rue a little bit in it, who's in the first 2 books. And I love it. I really love it. It's magical. It's got a bit of magic, it's got a bit of mystery, it's definitely tackling race as well, and it's really good. Definitely love it, and I'm keeping that one. Another keepy. Oh god, my keepy pile's actually bigger than my getting rid of card pile, which makes a change. So now on to my 5 stars, and they're all fantastic. Like I said, I can't describe to you how much of a good reading month I'm having. I'm looking at the time because I'm thinking don't want this video to be too long. So this is the start. This next one is 5 stars, and it's the start of a series, and it's a contemporary that's 5 stars. Summer at the Comfort Food Cafe. I realised that I've got one book I'm missing in this series and I can't find it in the charity shop, so I think at the end of the month I may just go and get it from ABE Books. This is a summer book, which really in like the start of spring feels a bit weird. And it is literally set in the comfort food cafe. It talks about food, it talks about grief, it tackles love, it tackles everything. And it's also got the multi-generation, like, 'cause it's got a lady and it's got an older couple in it, and it's got people from different walks of life and people of different, very different. It's got a motherhood. It's a brilliant book. I really can't wait to carry on with this series. I am just loved it. I think it tackled grief so well, and it really talks about food in such an amazing way as well, which I really loved. That's another keepy. The next one is my buddy read with Charlie from Charles Heathcote. It's the 4th in the series. It's Storm of Sisters. What more do I need to say? 4th in the series. It was going to be. It's my first book of the month. 5 stars all the way. I can't tell you too much about it because obviously it's the 4th in the series, but it's set in a frozen town called Wilderness. A promising adventure, a ghostly legend. So this is, the last book was more witchy. This is more ghostly book, and it's really exciting. And there's no one kidnapped in it, which is good, but there's definitely some loads of excitement. The Wintershire sisters are so great, and I absolutely loved it. Cannot describe how much I love it. The next one was a reread, but it doesn't count as a reread in my figures because I've only just got the copy. And that's the Page Tune book for the month, which is the Page Tune, which is One Perfect Summer. I now need to go back and read the short story, which is the One Perfect Christmas, that was written after this, that goes on to it. And it tackles up. This book is set over a long period of time. So it starts off when Alice is 18 and she's about to start university, and she goes to Dorset and meets Joe. So they form a romance, it's really cute, and then something happens and they're separated. And then we go on to Alice's life after meeting Joe. She goes to university, things happen, and but she never forgets her first love. I think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. Literally loved it. Obviously it's Page Tune, you know I was going to love it. Then my first reread of the month, my reread of the month, which was Get a Life Glory Down. We all know it was 5 stars. We all know it was one of my favourite books of last year. Absolutely bloody loved it. I couldn't believe how much raunch was in it. But right now, with my chronic pain being a bit tricksterish, it was really good to read that and to read the descriptions, because it's literally like I read a book and I feel like I'm being seen. And I think that's what Talia Hibbert did best in this book. It's the chronic pain representation. Yes, she mixes the sauce in to make it quite fun. She mixes the sisters in again. You meet the sisters for the first time again, and loved it. Then a middle grade book that wasn't on my TBR, but I decided to add it because I found it in the charity shop, and from Angie was Angie Science Mum, which is now down to Angie Henderson. She bought it and she'd read it, and a few people have bought it. I've literally only finished this lot yesterday, The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and this has got a lot of morals. It's middle grade, it's fun, it's fantasy. There's magic in starlight and magic in moonlight, and magic and families and morals, and it's exciting and it's brilliant. And Jack from Thread Book Joy has just done a set of 2 videos, by the way. I wanted to mention it because they're brilliant videos, and they're on middle grade and why people love middle grade. And for me, this was middle grade for escapism, from hiding from the world, from going into a different place. That was why I read that middle grade book. So if I can link Jack's 2 videos down below, I will. If I just link Jack's first video on middle grade books and why she likes middle grade and why other people like middle grade, I will. So I will link Jack's video actually, because I think we need to know why middle grade's brilliant. And last but no means least, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's amazing. Again, we all know that 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is one of my favourite books. I didn't think that it could top this, but this is going to be going in my favourites for the year. This is about siblings. We've got dual timelines. We're set mainly over the period of 24 hours. That's the current day, set over the period of about 24 hours. But then we go back to the history of where Nina Riva's parents met and how they got together and the history behind them. And I think that's done brilliantly. It's about their 4 siblings. It's beautifully written. It's exciting. It's contemporary. It's fun. It's historical fiction. It's exciting. Oh, it just could not be better. I loved it. I really loved it. To me, it deserved all the hype. Now, I'm going to be honest, my 2 favourites for the month are probably going to be Malibu Rising. And I think at the moment I'm going to put Storm of Sisters, but because it's a series book, it probably won't go in the favourites for the month at the end of the month, because I try not to put series books in that. But I did love it. So these are my favourites for the month. So guys, what has been your favourites for the month? Are there any books that have really jumped out at you and stood out? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.